Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today I have an order to go out for a lavender colored arrangement. She wants lots of lavender, but I could put other color in. So I chose to add blues with this arrangement. I'm starting out with a basket. This is just a wicker basket with a handle. And what I've done is I've taken foil paper, I've lined the inside of the basket. This is 2/3 a block of floral foam. It has been pre-soaked in fresh water and I taped it into the container. I added a little bit of water into the reservoir so we don't have any problems with the flower staying hydrated. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a little bit of greenery. This is leather leaf fern. So what I'm going to do is I am going to green out my floral foam with this leather leaf fern. So you can see I'm just taking that fern and cutting it up into smaller pieces. And excuse me, I have allergies. My nose has itched and itched today. And so if you hear me sniffing, it's because I have sneezed and sneezed. I don't know why some days my allergies are worse than others, but today happens to be one of those days. All right, so you can see how I'm just taking that leather leaf fern and I am just cutting it into smaller pieces to add it right into that floral foam. I like to use leather leaf fern as a base for arrangements. It's an inexpensive foliage, and so it's a really good base for arrangements. All right. So next what I'm going to do is come in with my fresh flowers. I do have other pretty greenery that I'm going to use, but I'm going to use that at the end. So you can see I have some spiral eucalyptus and some seeded eucalyptus, but I'm gonna wait and add that at the very end, just as a finishing touch to my arrangement. Okay, so next I'm gonna come in with my lime flower. The lime flower that I chose, I have some really beautiful light blue delphinium, and so I'm gonna come in with my height first. I love this blue delphinium. There's something about that pretty blue that I just think is so lovely. All right, so there's my blue delphinium. So next I have some really pretty purple stock. So this is kind of a royal purple stock that's really pretty. I don't know about you, but I really like purples and blues together. Now, when I first, I don't know, I had a bride one time come in and what she wanted was lavenders and purples and blues. And I thought, oh, this is going to be terrible. And it was perhaps one of the prettier weddings I've ever done. The color scheme was just so pretty. Okay, so there is my stock. Next, I'm going to come in with some blue hydrangeas. So these are just really pretty blue hydrangeas. What I've done is I've removed all of the greenery off of those hydrangeas. I've got a little bit of quick dip that I've poured right here into just a little jelly jar. I'm going to cut my hydrangea at an angle and I'm dipping it in that dip. I'm counting to 7. And then I'm tucking it right into that oasis. And be sure to tuck it deep. And then I'm going to take a second one, remove all the foliage. I'm removing the foliage because it'll help keep the head more hydrated. It'll stay hydrated longer as when it doesn't have to hydrate the foliage. All right, I'm going to turn my arrangement around. I'm going to adjust that second hydrangea. Okay, so there's my hydrangeas tucked in. Next, I have some lavender colored buttons that are just so pretty. I love lavender colored buttons. They last so long. I like buttons, period. It doesn't have to be lavender. It just needs to be a little button mom. Buttons are in the chrysanthemum family. There is one little stem here. I don't know if you can see it, but his little head popped off. So I'm just going to remove that little stem so you can't tell it's missing a head. Tuck these little buttons here and there in this arrangement. This one also has a little stem. I always just go in and remove the stem. If it doesn't have a head, I just remove the stem. And then nobody's the wiser. You don't know that there's a little head missing. I'm going to turn my arrangement around one more time. I'm going to see exactly where I need to place it. Sometimes it's not easy to arrange flowers backwards. Okay, so I tucked that one there. I have a few more stems. Now what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to cut it in half. So I left some blooms on this part, and then there's blooms here. I'm going to tuck this shorter piece down lower into the arrangement. Todd, come here. And then I'm going to tuck this one clear. Alright, so there are my purple or my lavender buttons. Next I have some really pretty purple astros. Astros are a lot like mums in their longevity. They last so long and they come in so many pretty colors. Now astros come in lots more colors than daisies do, but they're such pretty flowers. I just think that it's a great flower. It's not an expensive flower, and it's a very long-lasting flower. It's funny to me that the longest-lasting flowers tend to be the least expensive. And I'm like, well, that seems silly. That seems silly that the longest-lasting ones are the most expensive. I mean, inexpensive, sorry. Lastly, I am going to, in flowers, I still have some pretty greenery to add. I have these really pretty lavender roses. These are a really pretty fragrance rose. I'm not exactly sure the variety, I can't remember, but it's a really pretty rose. So I'm going to take and I'm going to wire these roses. I'm pressing this this wire into the calyx of the rose, and I am just twisting that rose. I'm twisting that wire right around the stem of that rose. Now the reason I am wiring these roses is because they're going into oasis. And I know that they're not going to go down. Like they're going to stay pretty for a long time if I wire them. So I'm just taking that little wire, pressing it into that calyx, and twisting that wire right around the stem. And I'm just pulling off any of these are just guard petals on this rose, and people don't love them. They think that it makes the rose look dead, so you just remove them. And if any roses have bumps or bruises on those petals, just remove any of the bumps and bruises. It's not hurting the rose. All right, I'm going to turn this arrangement and see exactly where we need these pretty roses. And I'm just putting them right here in the front of this arrangement, just kind of nestling them right into those hydrangeas. Just kind of tucking those right in. Okay, there we go. Now let's come back and add a little bit of pretty greenery. I've got some seeded eucalyptus. It's not really full. It doesn't have lots of greenery, but I like the seeds. It kind of gives a little whimsy to this arrangement. So I'm just tucking just a little bit of that seeded eucalyptus right down into that arrangement. Here's a pretty good piece, so I'm going to take it and put it right here in the front. So it's pretty. I just broke a little piece, so it's okay. I'm just going to tuck that right into that oasis. So see how that kind of finishes off the edge of that basket. So it just gives it a little bit of a finished look. I'm going to tuck a little back here in the back. All right, and then to give it a little more height, this is called baby blue or spiral eucalyptus. It's got one little offshoot I will cut off. And this is just going to give us a little bit of height. It smells wonderful. I don't know if you like eucalyptus or the smell of eucalyptus, but when you go to strip off the bottom leaves, it smells so pretty. Now, you have to be careful with eucalyptus. Sometimes the oil in eucalyptus, fresh eucalyptus, can cause you to break out. So you kind of have to be careful. If you've not worked with it before, be careful with it. It can just, some people are allergic. And so allergic to the oil that's in euc. And so just be careful. My sister, her hands will just kind of burn when she messes with eucalyptus. And it's not really going to cause her to be sick. It's just an irritant. It just irritates her skin. So I'm just taking these little pieces and just tucking them right down into this arrangement. All right, and last, to finish this arrangement off, I'm going to add a bow.
Absolutely.
I've got this really pretty lavender colored ribbon. And so I'm just going to make a loopy bow to go right there in the front of the basket.
Gotcha.
And my hands are kind of sticky from that eucalyptus. I'm going to add the wire to just a wire pick so that it'll stick right down into that foam.
Okay.
I'm just going to tuck it right here at the base. And you can just, this is wired ribbon, so you can kind of adjust it and make it look pretty. And there you go. There's a pretty basket to be sent as a gift. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you do, please be sure to subscribe to our channel so you can get notifications of when we upload a new video. Thank you so much. And if you liked this video, you can always follow us on our other social media that are listed right below. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you soon.